Hello and welcome to Jason's Sports Show. Today I'm going to do a preview of the Los Angeles Dodgers season. I had some free time, so what the hey. Might as well do a preview, right? Well, last season ended practically when Mark Ellis flew out to center field to end the season. We lost to the Giants. Though we played the next day, we beat the Giants 5-1. That victory was only a grudge match. We won the game. Andre Fear, Adrian Gonzalez came out and told us that to expect more next year, to expect maybe a championship, to bring the Los Angeles Dodgers their first championship since 1988. So who are the men, the soldiers, that will bring the championship? Let's go meet them. Of course, let's start with the infield. Adrian Gonzalez, a pickup from Boston last year, didn't really have the offensive power that we thought he would have, but give or take, I'm sure this season with the new hitting coach, Mark McGwire, he can get back into his groove, just like when he was in San Diego and had that great year. But right now, he has a focus on doing well, and hopefully this season he can produce like he has in the past. Second base, you have Mark Ellis, you have Skip Schumacher, you have Nick Punto, who I saw him play a few times, but he wasn't that great. And then you have Elan Herrera. He didn't play that many games. Played 67 games. He was okay. He could be a great third string, second string, but he needs to be. I think he's more of a utility man, in my opinion. But it might be Schumacher or Ellis that starts this year. Ellis didn't really give the best numbers that he maybe could have given to the Dodgers. You have Nick Punto, who hasn't really been a regular guy since he played in Minnesota back in 2007. That was the last time he really was an everyday guy. He played 150 games in 2007. And as he left Minnesota, he became more of a bench player. But I'm gonna make this statement. He's a good bench player. That's how I feel. Be honest with you, he's a great bench player. He batted for the Dodgers. He batted his third highest batting average ever. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win games, but you look at a team like the Clippers. That's basketball, of course. They have a great bench. You know where they are right now? Second best in the league. Could be the same for baseball. Have a reliable guy in the 7th, 8th, 9th, even maybe the 6th to come on and possibly get you a hit, or like take out a guy who's struggling, going 0 for 3, get you that hit, and start something. That's a good feeling. That's a great feeling when you can have that. The Dodgers picked up Jesus Flores. Still a great guy. He is very young, 28 years old. So, I don't know how long we'll have him, but we'll have him for a little while at least. Not huge numbers. Maybe last season, you could say he had a little bit of a more breakout season. But his true breakout season was in 2008. He was still a backup catcher, but I feel good with this team. AJ is playing he's not going to be top 5 in the National League. And I'm not even sure how he ranks with catchers in the National League West. I'll be honest, I don't really know that. Buster Posey obviously is number 1. MVP, but AJ Ellis is a solid guy, consistent. He knows his job. Put me at eighth. Put me the eighth spot in the batting lineup. I'm down. I'm okay. He's not gonna argue with Manning. Nothing. He's not gonna argue with the. He's not gonna argue with Don. Sorry about that. He's not gonna argue with Don about where he is in the batting order. He'll take it. At least he's playing for an MLB team. That's all he really cares about. But going back to where I probably got off track, going back to second baseman. I'll talk about catchers more later. You look at second baseman and you see what Mark Ellis did for us last year, did for the Dodgers. I mean, not bad. He batted second in the order. He had 5 stolen bases. Carl Crawford is projected to start first. I'll go back to the lineups, but I mean, Mark Ellis is 35 years old. He's growing old. I mean, you look at practically any like guy for the Dodgers right now. You look at any second baseman, especially second baseman. Second baseman for the Dodgers are old. Schumacher's 32. Schumacher's not that bad though. He's not that bad. He's young. I like that. He comes from a place called Torrance, which I really don't like to talk about. Personal history. Nothing about it. Nothing about anything. Played since 05. Played since 05. Solid player. Didn't really get to see that much playing time through the 2005-2006 season, but he finally hit his stride. I'll be right back. I'm going to go commercial break. Alright, Mama. Okay, Mom. I love you. I'm just doing it right now, Mama. I love you. Bye-bye. I'm sorry about that, folks. It's pretty unprofessional from me to let a phone call happen during a show, but we're back anyways. Skip Schumacher finally got his playing time in 07, and from there on he's played at least 100 games. Let's hopefully we can do this. Let's go on. Let's go on a little bit about Schumacher. A great player. Starts a lot of games for teams. He's a decent producer for teams. He doesn't steal much. He's not really a fast guy, but he can hit for average. He's decent enough. And that's the kind of guy the Dodgers need. It's a great pickup for the Dodgers to get Schumacher because I mean, we haven't really seen the last second baseman I thought who was really good was Orlando Hudson back in the 09 season. I liked Hudson. I really wish they had kept him because he was good. He's a really good player. I think he deserves a spot on in the Dodgers lineup. But it's going to be Don Mattingly's decision to put him on. Whether or not they want to keep him or not is Don's decision. Because Mark Ellis has had his time. He's had his 1 year to prove to everyone that he can still play. Whether or not Don was impressed by that, it's again up to him. But I wasn't impressed by it. Not even a little bit. I did not want him playing second base. And it's going to go over into the shortstop discussion. I want Hanley Ramirez play second base. You want to know why? Because I trust Hanley Ramirez. I don't trust him at shortstop, but I for sure trust him at second base. He has an arm. I mean, he doesn't really have an arm to play second base, to be honest with you. I mean, he did play shortstop, sorry. He's not that good at playing shortstop. I've seen him at a game where he threw 2 balls into the dirt. 2. I don't want you playing. I don't want you playing shortstop anymore. You know where I would want to put him? I put him at third base, even just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just put him at third base. Put Cruz to second. And put D. Gordon as shortstop. That would put a little bit of ease in my mind, I think. That would put a little bit of more. I'd be more trustworthy in that. I don't. He sucks at shortstop. Oh my gosh, he sucks at shortstop. He can't throw the ball to the first baseman. He can't throw it to Adrian. So the ball takes 2 hops when he throws across. Come on. You're a Major League Baseball player. That's not how it's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be playing better. But what does he do? He just plays like trash. Because? No, there's no reason because. He just plays like trash. And I hate it. I mean, he didn't even produce that well for hitting. Hanley had 6 home runs, sorry. Hanley had 24 home runs. 10 with the Dodgers. Hanley, his home run year is gone. 2008. I mean, I can respect that, obviously. That's not his choice. He's done. I mean, we're not expecting him to be a power hitter, but Hanley, come on. Let's go. Anyways. Hey, Ramirez as shortstop or D. Gordon. That's a discussion that's gonna boggle a few people's minds. I'll get back to the second baseman talk in a second, but who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Hanley Ramirez as shortstop, or is it gonna be D. Gordon? Because D. Gordon can play. Let me tell you that. D. Gordon came off the bench for a few times last year, and towards the end of the year he came off the bench, but for most of the year he started shortstop until we got Hanley Ramirez. And D. Gordon's stats are nothing great. I mean, he's not gonna jump at you as Rookie of the Year or anything. That's just what I think. Hanley Ramirez is also a great player. I like him. He's a good player, but I feel like D. Gordon can do much better. You say, look at the stats, Jason. In 79 games, how many errors does D. Gordon make? 18. Hanley Ramirez, in terms of fielding at shortstop, only makes 6 in 57 games. So, what do you have to say to that? He's not the best fielder. Let's just say that. He is not the best fielder. Question is, can he play other positions? Can he play second base? He plays second base. We're already in the playoffs. As long as he doesn't keep on messing up, and if we have a great fielding coach, then we'll be fine. I don't worry about his hitting because he's a great leadoff man, and if we can get that Crawford and Gordon 1-2 punch with Gordon hitting off first and then Crawford hitting second, we'll be in business. We will be in business. That's how I feel. I mean, D. Gordon, in my opinion, is a really great player. He has a lot of potential. I just don't think the Dodgers are really taking advantage of the potential that he has. So, That's my take on it. That's why I kind of want D. Gordon to play. D. Gordon is my pick over Hanley. Hanley can play second. He can play third. So, realistically, Hanley will play shortstop when it's all said and done in spring training. But moving on, third baseman. There is no competition. Luis Cruz. Luis Cruz had a breakout year last year. Not Rookie of the Year. Played only 78 games, but had a good impact in those games. And he's young, and he's ready to play. He can play second base. You know that. He can play shortstop. So, Don will probably put him anywhere he can, and he'll play. Let's move on to second base. The second base discussion about the Dodgers. I think if I had to pick one second baseman to start for the Dodgers, probably Schumacher. Have Mark and Nick come off the bench, but they're probably gonna go with Mark Ellis. I'll be honest, they're gonna go with Mark Ellis no matter what. So here we go. Who starts in the outfield? Andre Ethier, franchise player. People who don't call Andre Ethier a franchise player have not seen him play. You have not seen him play. Andre Ethier can play ball whenever he needs to. Matt Kemp, probably the best outfielder, probably the best Dodger player, one of the best Dodger players besides Kershaw, the best outfielder in the National League. Maybe even the MLB. This guy is so dominant. He doesn't care what you want. He does what he wants, when he wants, whenever he wants. And Carl Crawford, fast, speedy, can hit. What else do you need from a player? He was going to be the franchise player of Tampa Bay before they took him out. Saved his career. I'm joking. Of course I'm joking. He didn't save his career. What the heck happened? What the heck happened to his career after he left Tampa Bay? He used to be a 300 hitter. He goes to Boston, starts hitting crap. Whatever. We're back. When I come back, we'll discuss pitching and expectations for this year and an expected lineup. I'm back. Better than ever. The outfield for the Dodgers is pretty much set. I mean, you also have Tony Gwynn Jr. that can play for the Dodgers. He's an okay player. He's not gonna jump out at you. There's also Jerry Harrison Jr., who is not that bad. I mean, he's 36 years old. Come in 8th, 9th inning when the Dodgers are at least ahead. He'll give you some decent numbers. He has 4 home runs, so pretty good. Tony Gwynn Jr. The legend, Tony Gwynn, of course. This guy is a youngin'. Only like 21 years old. Had some playing time with... Oh, sorry, not 21. This guy's like 31 years old. Had some playing time with Milwaukee. He got a big start in San Diego. Played for the Dodgers in 2011. He played a lot of games for the Dodgers in 2011. He had some good stats for the Dodgers. Like a second or first guy in the lineup. Tony Gwynn instead of Tony Gwynn Jr. But I mean, he can play. He has a good average. He's a good guy off the bench, and sometimes an off day, maybe for Kemp or even Ethier. But yeah, he's good. He can win games. He can help win games, of course. So let's go down to the pitching. This just makes me mad. Oh. This is what makes me mad. Oh my. This is what makes me mad, because I don't know why people keep on saying that Josh Beckett should start. How about no? How about we keep Josh Beckett in a cage and lock him up so he can never touch a baseball again? That's a Dodger fan. I did not like us getting Josh Beckett. Or Joe Blanton. I wanted Chad Billings to come back so bad, because I was okay with Clayton Kershaw, Ted Lilly, Chris Capuano, Chad Billingsley, and Aaron Hurley. That was okay with me. But no. We had to bring in Josh Beckett. And he lost 3 games, but he won 2. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. He has not had a solid year since 2011. 2009, he was great. 2010, give or take, it's okay. Not horrible. But the Dodgers, not so bad ERA actually. Actually, he didn't have the worst of luck. But I don't really feel comfortable trusting him. I don't really feel comfortable giving him a baseball. I don't trust him. First start, he loses. Second start, he wins his second start. So not bad. Then he loses in San Francisco. Then he goes 2 starts without getting a decision. Then he goes. Then they go to San Diego, loses again. Last game he plays is against Colorado. 7-1 win. Josh Beckett, maybe not doing too horribly. Maybe he's just doing enough to win. But I still don't trust him. So who do you put in his place? I feel like they should put in somebody like, oh, I don't know, Harang. I mean, you have 2 righties in the lineup if you have Billingsley and Greinke. Or you could put Carpiano in. Or Lilly. Lilly's not that bad. Lilly's pretty decent, I'll say that right now. The only time I'll trust Josh Beckett is if he can bounce back. If he can for sure bounce back and get wins and shut down teams, then I'll trust him. But now I don't like it. I don't like having to think that he's starting. Might sound mean. I mean, once Beckett's gone, if Beckett can prove that he's good, then we won't need Capriano, we won't need Lilly, we won't need Harang. It's a known fact. We don't need them anymore. These guys could play in the bullpen, but I'm not really sure. There's another guy from Torrance. Yep. It's going to be one of those days. Torrance. That's right. Ted Lilly. Decent enough. He hasn't been complete trash. He's done what we've asked of him to do for us. I mean, he's decent enough. He played for Chicago, so what more can you ask from a guy who played on Chicago? So, possible 5th pitcher, Chris Capriano, went 12-12 last year. He could be tradable. Aaron Harang went 10-10 last year. Could be tradable. So, when it's all said and done, where do we go from the lineups? this is most likely going to be the lineup on opening day. Starting first, left fielder Carl Crawford. Hitting second, second baseman Mark Ellis. Hitting third, first baseman Adrian Gonzalez. Hitting fourth, center fielder Matt Kemp. Hitting fifth, shortstop Hanley Ramirez. Hitting sixth, right fielder Andre Ethier. Hitting seventh, third baseman Luis Cruz. And hitting eighth will be AJ Ellis. Hopefully, if Beckett can do well, this is the pitching rotation. Kershaw, Greinke, Ryu, Beckett, and Billingsley. Actually, that could be changed either way. Maybe there might be another left-hander in that lineup, or maybe we don't use Beckett at all. We just use Capriano as the fifth one. I should have talked about this, but two new acquisitions for the Dodgers are Zach Greinke, who I'll talk about first, former ace for the Kansas City Royals. Now he's in LA, the big lights, the city. Didn't really have a huge breakout year until 2009. That's when he really shined. Then he struggled in 2010. Then he gets picked up in 2011. Has a great season for Milwaukee. Doesn't even get defeated at home. That's a good stat. I saw him play when he was on the Angels. He's interesting. Let's just say that he gave up 6 runs, or however many, maybe. He gave up quite a few runs to the Cleveland Indians. That was an interesting game, but yeah, I don't understand really why he was traded from Milwaukee, but he's young and he's on the Dodgers now. My friend Bonnie always says, "You guys paid for a player who's only a second-string pitcher. He can be an ace. When Honeycutt gets hold of it, he'll be an ace." The second guy, Ryan-Jin Ryu, is a guy from South Korea. Southpaw. He's a southpawer, left-handed pitcher. So he brings some depth to the Dodgers. Hopefully, he does well for the Dodgers. His first taste of MLB action in spring training's over a month from now, almost a little bit more than a month. But yeah, so hopefully with the Dodgers having 2 new pitchers, kind of rejuvenates the lineup and gives new life to this team. After that's all said, where is this team going to finish? NL West is kind of tough this year. San Fran, Arizona can contend if they need to, if they want to. And it's a new type of season because they're playing teams out of the division now. So I mean, there's gonna be a lot of games, and there won't be as many games as there won't be as many games against certain opponents as there was last year. But they're playing a lot of different teams this year. And they play the Yankees, they play the Red Sox, play the Angels on a 2-2 home game series. This should be a really nice season. I like this season. I mean, it's different at least. It's kind of interesting. But how do the Dodgers do this season? That's not a question we can really answer right now, because we really have to see how these players perform. Assuming Crawford and Gonzalez do well, like when Crawford was with Tampa Bay and when Gonzalez was with San Diego, and we get D. Gordon at shortstop, and he doesn't make mistakes, and we get Hanley Ramirez at third, and he can actually throw the third, and we get Luis Cruz at second base, and he just does his thing. A.J. Ellis has another solid year. Matt Kemp stays healthy. Andre Ethier stays healthy. Basically, outfielders need to stay healthy. And we don't have an LA curse like what happened to the Lakers. And pitching is solid. Kershaw has another great year. Greinke has a good year. Rue doesn't like bring down the team if he doesn't have the full potential to pitch in the majors. He doesn't bring the whole team with him. We can either realize that beforehand, or he can at least pitch his head. He can at least pitch above water, or keep his head above water in terms of pitching, and not lose so many games to keep that ERA maybe around a 3. And Billingsley has a good year. And Capriano or Lilly comes back and pitches as a surprise in a great 5th spot in the rotation. And we stay competitive all year long with the Giants, and we actually are able to go above competing with the Giants and going on to the level of actually being able to beat the Giants on a consistent level and making these Giants and Dodgers games actual great games to watch instead of these blowouts and sweeps that we saw a few times this season. If we can do that, the Dodgers will make the playoffs. Because who else are they going to have to play against? The Nationals are a beatable team. The Dodgers beat them, and the Dodgers even make the playoffs. Bryce Harper develops, maybe a tougher team, but it's Matt Kemp's definitely a better outfielder than Harper right now, but Harper's career is just starting, so that's who's to say how good Harper will get. In the Central, the Reds, I don't know if they're going to repeat as champions of the Central Division. You could always have St. Louis. St. Louis never really backs down from a fight. Milwaukee could improve themselves a little bit better, and Pittsburgh should really get into the playoffs one of these days because they really are having some bad luck. Atlanta's without Chipper Jones, and they've been losing some of their players. Their pitching rotation is getting kind of old to be able to compete in the East. And if Philly can still compete in that division, that's going to make it harder for the Braves to keep on going and keep on competing in these games. I can't really say who will do well in some of these divisions, but I don't really know. The West is basically Dodgers and Giants. San Diego has a tendency to sometimes sneak their way into the playoffs and play very well like they did in 2010. But, I mean, and if Colorado gets Troy Tulowitzki, that obviously changes things. But let's go back for a second and talk about things that could happen for the Braves. Just for a quick second. Their two best pitchers, arguably their two best pitchers, obviously. Tim Hudson, Tommy Hanson. Tommy Hanson's not even a Brave anymore. He's an Angel now. Tim Hudson, he's grown old, but he's always been a great guy to have on the Braves. And he puts up great numbers, which I have the utmost respect for. But I'm not analyzing the NL East. I'm talking about the Dodgers. If the Dodgers win the West, statement made. The statement has already been made because besides the National League, and I'm not discounting anyone in the National League. The National League is a tough league to play in, but if you can be better than the Giants, this should be a compliment to the Giants fans. If you can be better than the Giants, then you are. You've already won the National League. Because the Giants are just lights out. So if you can beat the Giants, the pennant's yours. The pennant is automatically your crown. Who's gonna compete in the East, or in the American League? Angels, obviously, Oakland, Detroit, Baltimore again. Anybody really in the American League East is very, very strong this time of year, or this coming season. So that should be a very interesting division to watch. Whoever is the quote-unquote bad team, which will probably be Boston again. I want to see how Toronto does. Toronto is going to be a very exciting team to watch, so look out for them. Detroit, can they repeat and come back and go to the World Series? It's going to be up to them. But the Dodgers win the World Series this year. They can beat the Giants. Players can stay healthy. Pitching is consistent. That offense is like it's a Big Bang. It's Big Bang Theory. Just kidding. That's just a really dumb joke. But I mean, as long as their offense is a bang and the pitching is good, and that's the formula for any good team. But the pitching for the Dodgers has been good. It's been good, but their offense is horrible. They need to score more runs. I'll do a quick comparison. Last year, we only scored 637 runs. Go back a few seasons back to 2009, and the Dodgers scored 780 runs. They had a 169 differential. What the Dodgers have this season, they had a 40 run differential. So, offense, pitching, and everything between. That's the key to the Dodgers winning the World Series this year and bringing a championship back to the city that the Dodgers call home. You know what you might see? Dodgers and Angels World Series. That might happen. It's kind of different. I hate to say this about the Angels because my friend Bonnie is an Angel fan. I know a lot of Angel fans, but the Dodgers and Angels situations are reversed. The Angels have plenty of offense, and they have plenty of offense. They have plenty of it, but their runs against is no good. They need to improve their pitching drastically. Who was pitching for them this year? I'll just go into this for a second. Weaver, C.J. Wilson, Tommy Hanson, I trust. Joe Blanton, why are you pitching for the Angels? I don't even know. You know what? Let him pitch. I don't know why the Angels picked him up just to say they have a pitcher. Because we picked up Greinke. Is that the little revenge tactic? I don't know. But whatever happens, happens. So, if you want an Angels preview, just basically my preview, except reversed. They need a good offense still, and they have to have good pitching. But whatever. Dodgers this season realistically makes the playoffs. I don't know if they're gonna win, but they have a damn good chance of. They have a good chance to win the World Series. That's all I have the time I have today. That was a long show. Thank you for listening, and have a great night.